Questions for Governor Polis on two marquee issues at the state capitol.
Political infighting has caused delays on major bills, and the enforcement of the red flag bill, that's also become a topic of discussion with leaders across our state. And Denver 7's Jason Grenauer has been following these issues. He's at the Capitol to explain. Jason?
Yes, and basically today the governor was asked about two questions about those two major issues. First, what's going on with all this bipartisan infighting? And second, if the red flag bill passes and becomes law, will the state enforce it despite a lot of local opposition?
So I think this legislature is making strong bipartisan progress.
That's the view from the governor on this legislative session. This is the view inside one of the legislative bodies.
If you're going to do that, it's going to take a while.
Frankly, it feels like we are negotiating with children sometimes.
With a Democratic majority having enough support to pass controversial bills, some Republicans are purposely trying to slow the process.
Basically slowing everything down to a crawl and creating sort of an embarrassment for the institution of the democratic process.
Slowing it down is a healthy thing, it's a positive thing, and sadly we haven't used it as much as we should use it up here.
Polis didn't admit to concern and basically dodged the question of Washington-style politics at Colorado's Capitol.
I think there's a lot of good ideas on both sides of the aisle, and when the legislative process works well, and I'm confident it will this session, we'll take some of those great ideas from both sides to produce a better outcome for Coloradans.
Meanwhile, today, inside the state Senate, the red flag bill, which allows law enforcement to take away someone's weapons with a court order if they're deemed a threat to themselves or others, was delayed a third and final vote to tomorrow for the second straight day, as the list of sanctuary counties or places saying they won't enforce red flag if passed sits at 29.
Law enforcement agencies are executive agencies. Every one has to follow the law. I am one. I will follow the law, even laws I personally disagree with. We follow those laws.
State Attorney General Phil Weiser testified in committee that sheriffs who refuse to follow that law should resign. Polis was asked if he agreed.
I know that all the sheriffs in Colorado are deeply committed to following the law without prejudice, and I'm confident that our sheriffs will live up to the challenge of following the law.
Now, as for what comes next with that red flag bill, it's scheduled for a third and final vote tomorrow in the state Senate. We'll see if that happens. If it passes there, back to the House for one more vote because amendments were made, then to the governor's desk, who has said he would sign it. But then we will likely get back to infighting, only this time in enforcement and in the courts. Reporting live at the Capitol, I'm Jason Grenauer, Denver 7.
Traffic lights in Denver are getting a new look, and the change should save taxpayers money. Mayor Michael Hancock and Xcel Energy just announced a plan to replace 44,000 Denver street lights with energy-efficient LED bulbs. Mayor Hancock says it will be a 50% reduction in energy usage, and it's not just about efficiency.
The police department reports that it actually illuminates brighter for them, and so they're greatly appreciative of this effort. And for our pedestrians, which of course will hopefully improve safety.
The city will start with the street lights along Federal Boulevard because it's such a dangerous street for pedestrians and drivers. The entire process should take about a year to finish.
Former Rockies first baseman Todd Helton has entered a treatment program after a DUI crash. Now, Helton was involved in this crash just outside Knoxville, Tennessee. Police say his vehicle hit a telephone pole. He was the only vehicle involved. He was not seriously hurt. Now, Helton told